After 150 years of activities, above all spying, MI5 have decided to team up with the National Archives in order to organize the exhibition, the first one. And was it easy to work with them, or were they tough guys?
They were really easy to work with. It was an extremely pleasant surprise because we'd been quite nervous ourselves going into those first meetings, because it wasn't just that they endorsed the exhibition, they were their co-curators with us. So we were going into workshops where we were developing the content, we were throwing ideas around, we were selecting the objects and the stories. That was all done collaboratively, and they couldn't have been more straightforward and more pleasant to work with.
About the setting up the exhibition, have you thought about a specific way in order to show objects, items, etc.?
Yeah, well, it was really difficult deciding what to display, because we've got over 6,000 and just over 6,000 records of MI5 here at the National Archives. They also have their own internal museum, and they lent several objects to us for display. And we had 115 years of history to cover, so it was really hard choosing. But yeah, that was a sort of something we had to work on together throughout the process. We chose certain highlights that really represented moments of MI5's great successes, such as the double cross operation during the Second World War. But we also looked at some really difficult moments that MI5 have had to deal with over the years, including deceptions and betrayals internally, including, of course, famously the Cambridge spy ring.
And about spies, is there anyone who kept your attention most compared to the others?
So one of my favourite spies that we encountered was a man called Eric Roberts, who was recruited by MI5 in the 30s, I think, but he was working for them during the Second World War. We've got a photograph of him in the exhibition, and what he did was he infiltrated Nazi groups within Britain, posing as a Gestapo officer called Jack King. So all of these Nazis, British citizens, thought that they were giving useful information to a Nazi that was going to go back to German high command. Actually, he was taking all of this information and compiling records on them, which were duly filed in index cards, and MI5 have lent us the very drawer in which he filed those cards, and making sure none of that information went back to Germany, and also keeping watch on those pro-Nazi groups within Britain. As part of that operation, MI5 actually commissioned from the Royal Mint a fake German war medal, which Eric Roberts then awarded to some of his informants who thought that they were doing such a good job for the Nazi war effort that they were being rewarded with a medal, whereas actually all of the information they were giving was going straight back to MI5.
And about items, there is one very specific lemon.
Yeah.
If you can share,
Yeah.
if you can say something about that.
Sure, so we do have a desiccated lemon from the 1910s in the collection, and the reason we have that is because it was found in the lodging house of a German spy called Karl Müller during the First World War, and he was using the lemon juice to make secret ink to write messages back to his handlers in Germany, which were intercepted and revealed to be secret messages.
If you can share any tips to audience in order to make the most of the exhibition.
Leave yourself plenty of time. There's a lot to see. And what would my other tips be? I think come to it with an open mind, because there might be some unexpected stories in there, and you might, for example, to be expecting for it to be a very to be an exhibition that tells you a lot of stories about kind of daring do and kind of maybe particularly male spies. And actually, what we're telling in the exhibition is spies can be anyone. And as Sir Ken McCallum, the current Director General of MI5, says himself, they're ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And that's really what we tried to represent.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.